Welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports, where husky middle-aged men share insight on the latest Baltimore sports news. From the bank to the yard and beyond, we're breaking down the Ravens, Orioles, Terps, and more. Baltimore's best sports podcast starts right now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports. Jason, John, and Mike are back together again. This is two in a row, Mike. Two in a row, one more, and we have a winning streak, Mike.
One more, and you can win at tic tac toe. I've played that quite a few times.
Outstanding.
We play it a lot on the old placemat when we go to dinner. I don't know if you guys do that with your children.
We do. But
Yeah,
tic tac toe is so the only way you lose is if you stop paying attention or you feel bad that you your child hasn't won enough, so you let one of them win. Like that's really the only way you do it.
you got the one little corner trick. If you play it right, you can get them all trapped in there. But most of the time, like you said, if they're paying attention, but most kids aren't, you can win or stalemate is most of the time stalemate.
Yes.
Just like most soccer games that John would not watch.
Oh my God. Speaking of soccer, and I told you I was going to say this. So we were yelling at John because once again he's not watching soccer, and the only comment he made about soccer was that a former NFL player's son happened to play on the U.S. team, and that's his extent of soccer. And but the thing is, I don't understand why there's a third place game. To me, it's like you know how ties are like kissing your sister. I don't have a sister, but that sounds disgusting anyway. But I don't get it. Why are we playing a third place meaningless game? I mean, besides money, right? Like your advertisements and all this stuff. It's not the Olympics. There's no bronze medal. Like this is like essentially saying, okay, so whoever lost the NLCS and the ALCS, you guys are going to play each other, and whoever wins, congrats. Explain this to me, Mike, because I think it's horse manure.
I mean, it is way more of an Olympic format because it's every 4 years. So they do award the third place medals. I don't know if you watch after the match, but they do give them medals. England got third place. They did score 6 goals today, John. So if you thought soccer was boring, they scored a few for you, and then France managed 4. So there were 10 goals scored this afternoon, even though you could not bother tuning in.
Now, I will say on Mike's side here, John, the game, if you would have watched, but you didn't because you're, I don't know, a big sissy boy, it was 4-0, the English. And then all of a sudden, France came back, it was 4-3. And I was like, holy crap. I turned it off, turned it back on. I was like, what happened? Well, what the heck? So final score 6-4, a total of 10 goals, which is pretty crazy. John, what should we say? How are you going to come to your defense here?
I'm an American. I'm not a European, and I played manly sports like football, and never
Oh,
got into the said soccer. So yeah, I watched the Orioles game instead, which was much more exhilarating. Plus, some of us have to work on the weekends, so by the
so
time I got into the game, it was already almost over.
so I had more. Just so you know, I had more concussions and broken bones from soccer than any other sport I played. Two concussions from soccer, a split open stitches over my right eye my senior year of high school, and a broken arm my senior year of high school, all playing soccer, John. So I don't want to hear about this non contact nonsense. Mike, I'll give you a chance to make fun of the little pansy boy.
Well, if you play soccer, it's a contact sport, John. I mean, we're not all like the Europeans where if we get touched, we flop and fly and turn and twist. In America, there's a lot of just grinded out kind of because we don't have the skill necessarily. So it's just we kind of beat on each other quite a bit. So before you judge soccer, why don't you watch it for a minute and then we'll take care of that. What do you say?
Eh, it's still a little slow for my taste.
Oh, man.
It's
See,
it's
clearly you
still
haven't played.
it's still a little slow for my taste. I mean, I I'm sure
You'd rather watch the sport of football where they get to reset every 9 seconds and they spend 40 seconds in a huddle and then they play once in a while. Where soccer is just continuous action from coast to coast. If you watch today, the official had to get his leg rubbed down because he couldn't keep up with the pace of play in the 75th minute or something of the teams going back and forth. Now, in your defense, Jason and John, both teams played like it meant absolutely nothing. Like they didn't have the starters in to begin the game, and there were substitution patterns. I think they let some guys play who hadn't played yet. The keeper was the backup keeper for England. There was a lot of stuff going on, but it was a fun game to watch, especially if you like offense, because nobody was playing defense.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it kind of like it's funny, Mike, because you had said about contact sport and not being. I mean, because of my lack of skill in soccer, like I mean, that was fine, but I was not. I mean, it was high school was going to be the end for me, and that was even a stretch sometimes. But like the physicality part for me was being able to still push people around a little bit and do stuff. That's just not that might be the American game, but it's also a good point to why we might be lacking at a international level.
Well, Adam says soccer is the most beautiful game.
Adam, who? Where's my chat?
Adam Ernst.
Oh, that's because
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
stud. I mean, nasty soccer player.
Tall guy. Goalie / stopper. Big guy.
Agree with you. Yeah. So I mean, as far as tomorrow goes, I think from clearly the team I picked from the very beginning, Spain. I just think they're the most polished team. Is what the number one team in the world is playing the number two team in the world. Big Messi fan. I think that'd be awesome if he wins. I think Spain. So what I've noticed with Argentina the last 3 or 4 games, I mean, they tend to go down early. I'm not so sure, Mike, if they happen to go down 1 or 2 goals, that they can come back against a team as quality as Spain. Not saying the other teams weren't quality. I'm just saying that's going to be a real tough hill to climb.
Yeah, I mean, they've had quite a few matches in the World Cup where they dug a hole and had to come from behind. And I mean, good thing you got Messi back there and a solid squad offensively. But you know what? This Spain team is different. They've let up 1 goal the entire tournament. They built their legacy on defense and possessing the ball in tight spaces. If they go down, if Argentina go down early, they're in big trouble. I think it takes them scoring first to have a chance to win the match. Because if Spain does defend so well just playing a match, imagine if they had the chance to kind of hang back and play a block and not have to worry about scoring and focus on defense. I think Argentina has a hard time kind of breaking lines and getting through a Spain defense when they're defensive minded. Now, that said, early on in the game, I think it could be a great match, and hopefully Argentina can match blow for blow, so it is a great match.
I mean, what if Argentina scores early? I mean, you score early. I mean, it changes Spain's game plan a little bit, right? Because I don't believe Spain had to play from behind like this entire tournament. Like I might be missing something, but if they did, it was brief, right? I mean, it wasn't. Spain's not. You don't see a lot of 4 or 5-0 games, or like they're not going to put up that many goals, but like that. I mean, if they need to, maybe. But Argentina, I mean, they time and time again have put up 3, 4, 5, 6 goals. Like, I mean, so it's more interesting to me. I would like to say that I have a good prediction. I mean, I guess I'll stick with Spain, but I would much rather see Messi win again. I think he's great for the sport and all that fun stuff. He is 39 years old, Mike. And then we'll relieve John from this because he's probably blowing his head up over there. But he is 39 years old. Has he come out and said, did he come out and say this is it after this year? Or, I mean, could he give it a run at 43?
I think it's pretty much assumed that this will be it for Messi. I mean, Mbappe just took over the all-time leading World Cup scoring today, but he has Messi, I think, by a goal or 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if you have a motivated Messi tomorrow. If he can come out and tie the record or take the record, I think there's no more for him to prove. He's already won the World Cup. He's already represented his team well. The physical nature of the game that John doesn't believe in, at the age of 43, just the conditioning it takes to play quality soccer, you don't see a lot of those guys hang on, and if you do, it's usually defensive players. So I have a hard time thinking he's coming back at the age of 43. But if anyone can do it, he's an all-time great. If he's not a top 5 soccer player of all time, I don't know who is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's funny you say what you were saying about Mbappe. Not only did he just take over the lead, he's only 27 years old. I mean, there's a really good chance. I mean, he's going to go down as the greatest scorer in World Cup history. I was trying to look up. Do you guys remember? I guess France star Zinedine Zidane. His last World Cup, he was damn near 40, I think,
He was old. Yeah, he was older.
and he was midfield, I think, right? I'm trying to remember, but whatever the case may be, the demanding position that Messi plays, it's not like he's not like a center back or somebody in the back that like could kind of get away with that. I mean, he's in a, and even if you saw Ronaldo this year, he was subbing, like they subbed him out at the end of some of the games. I mean, Messi is playing the full games. So to me, I'd be curious to see how it goes. I mean, he'd also, I know he has some younger kids, so maybe this is it after that. So,
Zidane
all
was
right.
an attacking midfielder.
Yep. Yep. And I don't remember his age at the last World Cup. If I had to guess, he was 39.
He's 54 now, so
Okay.
he was probably about 40, I would think then.
Yeah, I mean, that's about 3 World Cups ago, right? Maybe a fourth. Something along those
He,
lines.
yeah, it
Um,
was.
I think it was 06, maybe. I can't remember. Somewhere in that range. Like
Yeah,
he
that
was.
sounds about right.
Yeah, 2006 was his last World Cup.
Bonus points, and I'll let John guess first. If you can remember, get your hands off the thing. What was the lasting impression he left in the World Cup? How did he leave his last game in the World Cup?
No
Time's
idea.
up, John. Go ahead, Mike. You
No
can tell
idea.
him. Do you remember?
Didn't he get a red card? I thought
Got
he got
ejected for
yeah, he got
headbutting his
headbutting. Yeah, yeah.
Which to me, it's like I'm like, oh, you were still the game was a tie game. I think that game went to penalties.
Was that Italy? Was that France?
Yeah,
Italy? I think it was Italy. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Italy hasn't been in the World Cup since then, or they have. They just haven't made an impact.
So,
Yeah.
So listen to this. So Zidane was sentenced by FIFA to complete 3 days of community service with children in one of FIFA's humanitarian projects, rather than a 3-match suspension for the red card because he was already retired.
Right, he was done. Oh man.
Well, the crazy thing, Jason, you were talking about Mbappe versus Messi. I think they said Mbappe has 22 goals in 22 games or something like that. Whereas I think Messi's played in maybe 30 some World Cup matches and has the similar amount of goals. Can you like that's a goal a game? Like it's ridiculous the pace he's on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's outstanding, and not only that. I mean, these are not like. See, this is where I get kind of like. I don't want to judge the U.S. players. However, if you see some of the goals that some of these top now again, these are the top teams in the world: France, Spain, Argentina. Some of these goals that they're hitting from all kinds of parts of the field, I would kill to see that in a U.S. game. All of our goals seem to be in the box. Some of these guys, they get over like midfield, they get like I don't know, 20 yards in, and they just let it go, and it like bends in the corner. It's pretty impressive, man. I'm telling you, including Mbappe. This is a different type of soccer, dude. That's all I'm saying.
They're getting there. U.S. is getting there. Some of their goals this World Cup were prettier than in previous World Cups. I'll say that. There were a couple combination plays. The one goal that Belugan scored where he got the ball and had to cut back, hit a upper 90, like right in the top corner. The quality of the U.S. attack has improved immensely in like not just one player, but as an attacking unit overall. They've definitely gotten better. But yes, they have a long way to go to compete with what you're seeing in this semifinal matches and in the finals, where you're going to see a really, really good Spain attack. You're going to see a ridiculously good Argentina attack. And France might have the best attack in the world, even though they didn't play particularly well today. They just decided not to play defense.
Right.
So,
yes,
Mike, what do you think about the coach now instead of Jeremy Klinsmann? What do you like him better, worse? You think he's helping the team?
You're talking about comparing Pochettino to Jurgen Klinsmann?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Pochettino. He's had attacking mindset. He had them in an attacking mindset, whereas I think Klinsmann, he was just kind of trying to find the style that would work for that U.S. team. I think Pochettino brought a style and expectations. It was a little bit of a different feel. He brought expectations of what he thought players should be doing. He brought expectations of what the style of play was going to look like. It just felt like more of a system when he was here. I don't have ins and outs and details, but you could just see it in watching the team play that they were all together. They had a game plan, and he also made great adjustments in game, which I didn't see, relatively speaking, from Klinsmann. But you could see even in that second half against Belgium, they had made adjustments at halftime. They slid somebody in a different space, and they're attacking in a different way. They're just making the right adjustments. However, I don't know if he's going to be back, because I'm sure he's going to try to get back into a major club and compete over in Europe again. I don't know if this is just a springboard for him to get back over there.
And he did work with the Argentina national team as well. The difference between Klinsmann and Pochettino, when Klinsmann came over, U.S. was in shambles. I don't want to say shambles. It was a mess. It's like you had Bruce Arena, and then obviously after that was Burkhalter. When Klinsmann came in, it was, I want control of the entire U.S. soccer program from the youth up. So some of the stuff you even saw last World Cup here was still a change that Klinsmann said, I need control over all this. And they did. They changed and revamped all of U.S. soccer. And then it kind of took a back seat. And then whatever Burkhalter and the rest of them, it's just not impressive. And you have a guy that Pinocchio, and he comes in and he just completely changes when you have a guy like that at that level that can make the changes that they can and have a plan. I never saw that plan a couple years back. And the level of players that they have, I mean, they've just improved. I think it'd be a huge loss, Mike, if he stepped down. I just don't. I don't know. I thought the announcement's going to be made here shortly, than the next couple weeks. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw they were trying to extend him through 2032 or something, but it also had mentioned that, Jason, that the article, it was on ESPN, I think, where they were like, we're trying to extend him through 2032, so past the next World Cup, but he does have offers from some lower tier European clubs as well.
That sucks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how any of that stuff works as far as clubs versus national teams and all of that nonsense. But okay, so we're gonna pivot for our non-soccer fans to the Orioles, winners of 6 straight. John called it. John went out there on a limb and he said they're gonna win 6 straight games today. I said, perfect, John. I'm with you, Team John. And that they did indeed in 11 innings, I believe. And yeah, I mean, same thing we talked about last show. Like, no one's doubting the fact that this team has been able to fight. But since we have talked last, I think they've now won 1 game in a row or 2 games in a row. Since we got to the All-Star break. Impressive. I'll take it. And but if they want to compete in the AL East, Boston won 11 or 12 straight up to this point. So, and they go to Boston soon. So it's, to me, it's impressive. They need these type of runs. We said it before that if they're going to do it, they got to make up some ground somewhere, Mike. So for me, whether you're winning 6 straight, 8 out of their last 11, or actually now it would be 9 out of their last 12, I guess. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, each game comes down to a handful of pivotal plays, and I feel like in the wins they've had recently, they've done a better job of making some of those pivotal plays. Like, if you look at this evening's game where Tyler O'Neill, with the 2-man outfield, catches the ball and makes a great throw to home and gets that up. I mean, they lose the game if they don't make that play. So, but you still see the same old Orioles, with errors in the in the late innings, and you see So, like, I watched the game yesterday, and there was a ground ball between shortstop and second base. The umpire was a little bit weirdly placed in it, but like it's right between the two players, and they kind of looked at each other. That's like little league stuff. So I still see that, which concerns me. We're talking about playoff push. That's not playoff caliber baseball. So until I see some of those things change, I feel the good momentum of the 6-game winning streak. I'm going to be on board. I'm not jumping ship. I think they're capable, but it's never going to be what it needs to be until they fix some of those defensive gaffes.
Yeah, I mean, and today, I mean, it's the pitching too. Like, I don't know if you guys watched the game last night with Dean Kramer, but it did not feel like he had only let up 1 or 2 runs by the time. I mean, it was like he's walking guys. He'd walk, not necessarily just walking guys, but he'd 2 or 3 times he walked the first batter of the inning. I was like, great, okay. And then he'd come back with a double play, or he'd strike out using the top of the zone well with his 4-seamer. And to me, it was like, okay. I mean, how I feel. Like, I was fine if they got rid of Dean or whatever. I know, Mike, you've been always a big supporter there. It's kind of that bulldog mentality. But that's the kind of stuff they're going to need going forward. I mean, I think Bradish, we'll talk about in a few minutes, but Bradish and Rogers, Boz to a lower extent there. But it's going to be Dean Kramer, Brandon Young. Can he repeat what he did in the first half, John? And if he does, I think pitching can take care of the pitching, right? What Mike is questioning is a defense, which I think we talked about the last show, and that's the biggest question mark. I think that, and for me, it's just hitting in general.
Yeah, I think the pitching staff has done a very, very good job. We brought in name just slipped my mind. I just had his name on the tip of my tongue.
For what, pitching?
From Pittsburgh, to fill the
Cam Sanders.
Cam Sanders. Yes, Cam Sanders.
Colonel
we just brought
chicken guy. Yeah.
So we when they were talking about him on Locked On yesterday or the day before, he has to stay with the big league club because he has no more time to go back down. So he's a slider guy who's gonna. I mean, he pitched both games so far in Houston, and he got us out of both. The one he got out of the big jam, and then today he just had a shutdown inning. But we had two hits through 9 innings, and we're just still, the offense is still not always coming up with the clutch hits at the right times. But that defense, though, I mean, do we bring a third baseman, and an actual third baseman, somebody who's a stronger defensive player over there? Do we need to do something like that? Because I didn't watch. I think I turned the game on about the 6th or 7th inning, and I didn't hear where the guy playing third base was. What was it? What was the
Encarnacion Strand?
Yeah,
I didn't hear where he came from.
So Encarnacion Strand was with the Reds for a while, and he actually, this is something you'll like, John. He played for Matt Holliday's brother and at Oklahoma State, and I think he was an All-American there. But whatever the case may be, he then was drafted, I think, by the Reds, played with the Reds, was released. They obviously have a log jam out there, and he has been killing it actually pretty consistently in the minors for the Orioles. I mean, it made sense. Actually, I'm surprised it took him this long to bring him up. He's a first baseman by trade, but also a third baseman. So anything you can get between him and Mayo combination right now. Now, my super secret, super awesome trade idea that we're going to get to in a couple minutes here is going to hopefully solve that problem if the Orioles decide to go my way. Between that and Mike's influence, I think I have another one too. But I do think, obviously we talked up Blaze big time, Blaze Alexander, and then as soon as we did that, we put the giant curse on him as he breaks a bone in his hand, which is stupid. That whole situation was stupid. Did you guys hear about this? See how it all went down. Obviously, the pitcher's trying to pitch inside. He threw 2 inside fastballs down by multiple runs, and Blaze was pissed. He's like, "You tried to quick pitch me twice," and he did, and he didn't have any control. When you speed up your entire presentation as a pitcher, yeah, you're going to lose some sort of direction on where you want the ball to go. To me, it's Bush League, but I'm also bitter because he's right now the best hitter Like only Orioles probably have not one of the best in baseball right now. So to me, horse crap, Mike.
No, I think it's an underrated move by Mike Elias this offseason. I think what a great job of bringing him in, knowing that Westberg probably was going to be hurt. And here's the thing, Jason and John. You mentioned, what do we do at third base? You have Jordan Westberg waiting in the wings next year. So when you're thinking about what you want to do maybe down the stretch, you have to remember you don't want to go after a guy who's going to be there for multiple years probably, unless you're planning on moving Jordan Westberg somewhere else beyond this season. So I would be looking at a rental at third base possibly if we're looking at somebody to really down the stretch upgrade, unless again there are pieces that can be traded. I'm sure we can each talk about what our thoughts are on how we can make this team a little bit better for the stretch run. I definitely have some ideas of my own, but I would agree though that Kobe Mayo probably is not your everyday answer at third base defensively. If he's your everyday third baseman, I have some real question marks as to how our season is going to end up down the stretch defensively. Now, I think he could maybe hit the ball a little bit better. I think as he gets more and more major league at bats, I think you might see the average tick up. The power has always been there, but I'm worried about defense more than I am about offense.
So agreed. But so again, my situation is going to solve that. And it might surprise you. I guarantee it'll surprise you because going back and forth there, you guys wouldn't have guessed who I had. However, so what I keep thinking of is if they get an extra guy in like a defensive minded player to put in for Mayo in the late innings. But the point is, Mayo hasn't really jumped off the page consistently enough that he should be in the lineup all the time. Against lefties, sure. So who's your defensive replacement? Well, if you bring a guy on here that's mainly going to play in the late innings, that's going to take away from extra outfield help. And you know what? The issue is you have the extra defensive abilities in the outfield, but then they're not great hitting wise. Like Cowser would be great late inning replacement if he isn't starting, but his bat's been whatever. Taveras has been a great welcome addition to the team. So again, I just want to go back to a couple moves that Mike Elias made. As much trouble and nonsense as that he's gotten from everyone, Taveras, Blaze Alexander, Pete Alonso. These are what's his face in the outfield. Why can't I remember his name? Who's our left field?
Ward.
Taylor Ward. So those four guys, I mean, pretty good additions, especially for the amount of money and what you had to give up to get these guys. Like a relief pitcher and one minor league prospect that may play in Major League to get Blaze. I mean, Grayson Rodriguez. Sorry, Mike, not. And then Taveras cost you $1 million, maybe $2 million. It might have been $2 million. So as far as I'm concerned, like I have a couple ideas, John. I'll let you go, and then we can get into because Mike, we are going to talk about our trade additions or subtractions from the Baltimore Orioles here in a second.
Well, I think once we get the starting pitching completely back and everybody's healthy, I think Mike had mentioned this, I think the other day, is you may not need to bring a third baseman in. You may want to bring in a second baseman. You may want to bring in, somebody like Arias from the Giants. You may want, Mike, you had mentioned that the other day, because you can move Holiday or Jeremiah Jackson, who are more serviceable on defense. Holiday needs to get his hitting worked out. Needs to figure something out with the hitting because his hitting is just not what it was last year. But then bring in a second baseman to solve that problem. And then, you have there's your defensive replacements over there, and that's that's going to be I think that's going to be what turns us either into a playoff team or doesn't, is going to be is what kind of defense can we play? Can we make the plays like we did in the 10th inning today to get it over, or are we making the play where Gunnar throws the ball wide of first base, made a difficult play between second and third, and airmails the ball? Is that the kind of defense we're going to get? But I think that we don't necessarily need a third baseman. We just need a solid infield bat.
You guys want to take a guess at my super secret trade thing one more time? What did you guys say earlier? So let's see. John said Paul Skeens. I'm sorry, John. I am not trading for a pitcher like that. I am not mortgaging every potential offensive situation that I could get to get a guy whose arm could fall off at any moment. Same thing with Scooble. Sorry, guys. Not mortgaging the future for or anything or the present for a pitcher that and take that chance. Now, in my trade ideas, I am acquiring some pitching, but again, John, just I am confused by something you said though. You said once we get our starting pitching back, I think we have the five that they're happy with right now. Like I don't think there's anyone we're missing, right?
Well,
Am I missing something?
Bassett's coming back.
To do what? Go in the bullpen probably. Right? He's
Like,
not.
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Have.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna keep. But if Kramer keeps showing up like he did today, Kramer's gonna be gone, and they'll put Bassett back in the Kramer spot.
Kramer pitched well last night.
They'd be Bassett crazy to put him in the rotation. You know what I'm saying?
I just think he proved he could play. He could pitch from the bullpen. I would rather do that than have Dean Kramer stay until. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay.
Jason, is your idea?
It takes a minute to load.
Yeah, John.
It takes a minute to load.
All right, just like your brain. All right, so
yes, thank you.
Does your trade proposal involve moving any other players that are currently on the roster into a different position?
Yes, it also probably means they're getting traded as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So wait, let me give me a couple questions here, John.
Sorry,
your trade proposal. That's right. Your trade proposal. Would it involve moving any of the Holiday, Mayo, Cowser, like any of these veteran players that are already on the roster?
Off the roster or to a different position?
Both. I was thinking off the roster, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think I'm on board with. We have to. One thing, and I'll let you go with your proposal. The one thing we have to do is we have to give up on some players. Like, I think we're at the point in time where we just can't keep everybody. So if you're giving up on Mayo or Holiday or Cowser, whoever you're giving up on, you got to give up on somebody to get something, because we can't just keep all these guys around. I hope you guys would agree with that sentiment.
100%. So, and that's kind of where I'm at. Actually, in my proposal, I would be fine. I would think that Holiday would probably be the one that would go off here. Maybe Mayo, one of the two. I think it's going to take. I doubt they would do it for both. That sounds kind of crazy. I don't.
Well, we got Mountcastle coming back too.
Right. And I'm not saying that that's not going to be a good thing, but that's going to hit, right? Like he's going to be a hitter and he can play some defense at first, but like that's not what you need at this point. You need a hitter that can play defense too. I love Mike's idea of Arias, and I think even with my idea, there's a way of getting him on this roster too. I just don't know if the Orioles think the same way that I do. I think they need an impact bat, and I think there's one out there. And you said third base. You said shortstop. Second. What you guys didn't say was shortstop. What if they made a deal and went out and got Francisco Lindor from the Mets? And they either put him at shortstop or second base, which would move Gunnar to third, or if Holiday didn't go in the deal, then he would go to third. And one of those two could play second base. You know what I mean? I think to me it makes more sense for Holiday to go out, Lindor to go to short, Gunnar to go to third, and then they figure out second base. Either it's Arias, either it's Jackson, something along those lines. To me, the money is a huge roadblock for them, but I do think the Mets would take a cut there if they got the prospects they want. I think they would pay some of it, and I think it would cost you Holiday or Mayer. I think it would probably cost you Gibson. Maybe something else too. Probably something else, knowing how this stuff works.
Maybe Honeycutt or something like that.
Sure, go ahead. Take another swing and miss guy that hits the ball over the fence. Like it's if you get a guy now. Granted, I was going to do this more like mysterious. I was going to say, would you love to have a guy that has hit 284 career home runs and stole over 200 bases? The hell you guys wouldn't right? Yeah, you would take that. Now he's batting 205 this year. I think he's very unhappy with his situation, and I think New York doesn't want him there anymore. So before he ends up a Dodger or a Red Sox, there's no reason why we couldn't get in here, because you're right, Mike. This is what I've been saying here starting, I guess, last week. I've always defended all this, but I'm tired of holding the bag with Cowser and even Mayo to some extent. Go ahead. And now I do think Holiday might be a little. I might rushing that one out, but if that's what it takes, maybe that's what you do. There's
Well,
another. Oh, sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
if no, sorry about that. If you can't, I mean, Gunner's not playing great defense. He's not playing great defense, and Lindor did cross my mind because you can always slide Gunner to third, and maybe that helps to jumpstart Gunner because you maybe just he's you can tell he's in a rut. The way he's taking swings at the plate, I don't know who was on the broadcast today, but whoever the broadcaster was like, he just doesn't know where the barrel of his bat is right now.
Jim Palmer.
It's like,
Jim Palmer.
yeah,
Jim Palmer.
I mean, a great comment, right? Like everyone's been there, and he's struggling, and with 2 strikes, he's lost. Like he can't put the ball in play, and and out in the field, he just doesn't look like he's having fun. He looks like he's just in a bad place. So maybe that not only you're going to bring a new guy in, maybe jumpstart him, you're also going to maybe jumpstart Gunner with that thought process, Jason. I don't dislike it. Then now the one thing I will say is Pete Alonso would probably have something to say about that because he'll know what Lindor is, and Pete would be able to say, hey, this is a guy that's a clubhouse guy that will be fine, that can mesh with these guys, or he'll be able to say, I don't know if Frankie's a great fit here. Maybe that's not the case. So I think I would definitely use Pete Alonso as a sounding board in this situation. And the one last thing I'll say, Jason, is I know Luis Robert isn't great, but he plays good defense. So maybe you can get him as isn't he a 1 year deal with the Mets? Like, can you get him as a throw in if you give up a Cowser or somebody who has team control? I mean, that's maybe something you look into. You maybe just add maybe a piece to that deal, and if you can get somebody who can play some outfield defense, I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
Yeah, I mean that was interesting because there's a couple players the Mets have, and they came out and said everyone's available except this guy, and this guy. And they're all the ones that make sense, like Benj and Ewing and the pitcher I can't remember, young guy. But there's 2 pitchers that they have that would help this team as well, and they may not be the guys you think. Like I'm not thinking Peralta is not one of the ones I was going to say. Luke Weaver is in that bullpen, and he is going to be a hot commodity, and he's going to cost something. But if you could somehow do some sort of package deal, if he came back with Lindor, now again, I want everyone to know that this is just out of the mind of Jason. This is nothing I've read or nothing I've heard, but Luke Weaver to me would be a huge addition to this bullpen, and it would solidify a lot of stuff. But the bullpen has been good, but come playoff time, you need bullpen help. And I was also thinking a guy that they had interest in the past, Clay Holmes. He's about to come out and pitch. He's had a decent season. He had a good season last year. They could put him in the pen. They could put him as a starter. So I think there's some options out there. I'm sure you guys have your own ideas as well. But for me, I do think that they need a Taylor Ward batting third is again not ideal for me. Who batted third the other day? Oh my goodness! I mean, I'm just like there's certain
Beavers.
guys. Beavers. Come on,
Beavers.
dude. Come on, guys. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, but
I'd rather have squirrels batting third than beavers. I'm just saying.
Wow. I'm just saying, either Arias or Lindor, to me, would make this team a lot better. If you got them both, holy hell! But I think it's more likely that you see someone like Arias on this team on a 1 year deal, expiring contract, than you would a Lindor. Again, might be a pipe dream, but the dude he had 3 straight years of 30 home runs. He's had 40 home run seasons. He can play. And he's just, I don't know. To me, it would be pretty good. John, do you have any last moments on this before we get?
Well, he's under team control until 2031 as well. So that's one where if you trade Mayo and Holiday, and then a couple others, your chances of re-signing Holiday are probably not good because he's another Boris guy. Your chances of re-signing Gunner, his value has gone down. But I mean, if you can't re-sign both those guys, then you got Frankie there. And granted, he'll be a little bit older. But he's still a very quality baseball player. And I think it's a very good thing. And I sent you guys a thing. I was looking for an article I was reading earlier about some trades the Orioles were making, and there's some talk of them dealing Trevor Rogers to the Dodgers for um, left-hander Jackson Ferris and outfielder first baseman Ryan Ward.
So what if this is if they're throwing in the towel though? Like
Yeah.
they wouldn't trade. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yes.
Like I don't
Yes.
want any. No offense, I don't want any Dodger prospects. Okay, I am good in that area.
We've done that before, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there's better prospect by the way. That's not even any of their top guys. I mean, they've got a couple guys out there that I'd be all about. But Mike, did you have some trade folks that you were interested in?
I mean, absolutely. I don't know how realistic they are. Going back to Arias John, and that's the guy I've talked about. He wants to play second base. He's made it very known that if he gets traded, he wants to be a second baseman now. He has kind of had a little renaissance at second base defensively in San Francisco, which was kind of unexpected. But with that being said, I'd be okay to plug him in at second base here if he's going to get on base the way he does and provide a spark at the top of the lineup. Well, what does that do to the overall infield? I think you consider moving, Jackson Holliday to third base. But like I said, maybe we upgrade at third base as well. Maybe the Paredes guy is somebody we go get, and you might have to maybe Holliday becomes part of a trade for a pitcher like a Ryan or somebody like that. He becomes like the linchpin in that deal. So I think it's more of you have to be creative, Jason. I don't know. I think we tend to be more creative than they are in the front office. I think maybe it's because we live in a little bit of la la land relative to what's actually going on in life. But I think they have to be a little creative. They've got to figure out the guy they want to keep and the guy they want to get rid of. Now, if I'm thinking long term, I already have Jordan Westburg as a right-handed hitting third baseman. Like Mayo to me is the guy you move on from. He also probably is going to get you more than Holliday just because you can see the raw power. What has Holliday shown you? Which tool has he shown you that is above average in the major leagues? I haven't seen any tool. His speed is there, but he still doesn't steal bases. His average isn't there. He's hit 27 career home runs. He has a little bit of pop in his bat, but he's not getting on base at a high clip. He's not doing any of those things that we thought he was going to be a 5-tool guy coming out as a number 1 overall pick. So if it's me, I use Holliday as that guy to go get a pitcher if you're going to go get a real pitcher. But if you are going to get a pitcher, you got to sign him. You can't go get a 1-year rental and then not sign him. So if you're going to go after Orion or the pipe dream of Skubal or anyone of that caliber, you've got to sign that pitcher when you trade for him, especially if you're going to give up a Jackson Holliday. If you're not going to sign him, then don't give up Jackson Holliday. Find somebody else.
So what they have right now is they're starting to quietly have some sort of pitching depth there. Like Trey Gibson down there. I mean, I'm still not obviously he's not there yet, but I mean Povich, he's going to get healthy here soon. So you got a little depth there. Bassett, a little depth there if you need it. So it's like these are guys that can start if you need them to, right? Of course, like bringing in a Ryan or somebody like that and penciling him as your 2 or your 3 behind Bradish to me would be great, right? But it's like to me, I honestly think the pitching can get it done the way it is right now. Like, do you want to is there an addition? Yeah, I just think it'll be at a lower key. The other thing too is I wonder if they do also make moves for now not these actual players, but a Durbin type, a Clement type, somebody that can play multiple positions, defensive first, can also hit a little bit. That's what I'm wondering. If they'll go out and get this super utility guys from other teams. And that might be the answer too. But I still am not happy whenever I see Dylan Beavers in the top 5 of the lineup or Kobe Mayo in there. It's it's just not there yet. But no, Mike, I agree with you. It's at this point, I'm not willing to hold on to these guys just to see what they would have had. And we should mention also, though, because this is going to go into a little bit of a conversation I want to have about extensions. Kyle Bradish today signed, and we've been calling for this. I know, Mike, you and I had talked about this ad nauseum. It's Kyle Bradish, 5 years, $90 million, steal, absolute steal. If you can get a pitcher for under $20 million a year that can pitch a sub sub-4 ERA, a sub-350 ERA, by the way, and to me that is a no-brainer. I think what this leads to next is Trevor Rogers. What has he done that wouldn't make you think that he should be on this team? Unless all of a sudden $20 million a year is not, he wants more than that. And then that's when I'm like, okay, well now now we have to play math a little bit. But a 4 or 5 year contract at $20 million a year, if that gets it done, I'd have him sign it tomorrow. But I'm wondering, Mike, if he's still in the 150 range. Obviously, this is all speculation, but if you could tie down your top three, Shane Baz, Bradish, and Rogers in no particular order, to me, I mean, that takes care of your top end of your rotation for years.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to think about. I guess there are two things that come to my mind when I think about it. First of all, it's a steal. Like 5 years at 90 million. What is that a year? I mean, it's less than 20 million
Right?
dollars. Yeah, it's less than $20 million a year. I mean, what were we talking about throwing out to Corbin Burns? Was that like 40? I mean, yeah, like above 30 either way, right? So my question though, so I'm excited about that, and I think it's a steal for the Orioles, and kudos to Mike Elias for getting that done. But it also makes me think like, where's the deal we signed with somebody that's like a market value deal? Like these guys, that deal we signed with Basayo, I thought was under what market value should have been for Basayo. What are we lowballing everybody? Like I just worry about that, because then when it comes, there's a reason we haven't signed Adley or Gunnar or anybody like that. It's because we are not willing. I'm watching what's happening, looking at the evidence. This is what it's telling me. The Orioles aren't willing to offer what the rest of the league feels probably is the fair value for those players. The Orioles have set a price, and if they want to sign early at a lower price, then they're going to do it. If not, they're not. Now, obviously, agents play a role in all that. I get that. But would you not agree that all of the deals that are being signed have been club-friendly deals?
Yeah, I mean, think about it though. What was the Pete Alonso contract for? Was that for 150 million?
Because yeah, but I'm talking about extensions. I'm not talking about free agent contracts.
Right. But this goes into what I'm about to say. Like, why are we supposed to say that Gunnar Henderson, what has Gunnar Henderson done that means that he should be making more than what Pete Alonso makes? Absolutely nothing, by the way, for everyone out there. Nothing. This is not a $400 million player. This is not the Juan Soto deal part 2 that everyone kept saying. That's horse crap. Like this, until he has more than has another year like his third or fourth place finish in MVP. Like, guys, I am a huge Gunnar fan. I'm sorry, 150 gets it done. And he is rolling the dice right now. And this also could be why he's struggling, because they've gone to him. Reports have said they have tried to get things rolling and get things started, and he has a number in mind. He's not reaching that number, anywhere near that number. It's clear. Now, if in 2 or 3 years when he becomes a free agent, are the Dodgers going to throw some insane number at him? Sure, but that doesn't mean that he deserves that. He doesn't deserve more than it's standing out to me, Pete Alonso, and I'll let John, you can react to this. Pete Alonso's $150 million over 5 years. Not Adley. Gunnar has not done anything to prove that he deserves that amount of money.
100% agree. 100% agree. I mean, look at this with Brad. I was just doing the math on Bradish. 8 of his last 13 starts have been quality starts. In his last 13 starts since the end of April, he has a sub 2.10 ERA. And we just locked him up for under $100 million, which is a steal, which means that one of two things, right? Either one, they don't think they can go get this stuff elsewhere, or two, they like the organization. They like playing in Baltimore. They like being there. They like doing these things. So is the culture around the clubhouse and around the team, is that like helping keep some of these numbers a little bit lower? Like you're looking like a place like Minnesota. Byron Buxton took a below market deal to stay in Minnesota, to stay in center field. Are some of these guys doing this in Baltimore because they like the new owner? They like the management. They like how things are going. And is this a a story of things to come? Is this what's going to be happening down the line? So I I think that we got a pretty good deal with with Pete at 155, but Gunner, you can go get a player or two to do as much, if not more, than Gunner for a fraction of the cost of if he's wanting that, if he's wanting that Lindor size contract of $31 million a year. He's got to, he's not going to get that in Baltimore.
Mike?
He's better than he's playing. You guys got to remember that. He's a better player than the way he's playing. If we would have had this conversation on the podcast before our 6-month pause, there's no way this conversation would have gone this way. So I just want to remind you guys, you're right. He has lost value this year, but he's not as bad as he's playing now. And he probably wasn't as good as his MVP, whatever, third, fourth MVP. So he's somewhere in between. So he might not be what did you say, Jason, $300 or $400 million player, but I'd sign the guy for $200 million if it's a long-term deal for, 8 years.
8 years, right?
So I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to poo-poo what you guys are saying. I'm just saying it's probably a little bit in between. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if you remember, before we had that layoff that we were talking about, it was that his price had gone down. But it was because last year, I mean, it's just when they were saying he's going to reset the market after Soto. No. I mean, Juan Soto's going to the Hall of Fame, guys. Sorry. Gunner right now, I'm not saying he is or isn't, but the numbers aren't there yet. But you can see it, Mike. Like something is it's like something's weighing on him. And maybe he's trying to carry this team, but he doesn't have to carry this team. Pete Alonso would love to carry this team, and he is. And it's like, just do what you can do. And look, I know that like I'm not a professional baseball player, obviously. So it's like just do what you can do and see what happens. And I mean, you're right. He is much better than what he's playing. But is he the third overall, like third in the MVP voting, Gunner? Or is he a sub 210 average Gunner? He's in between somewhere. But that in between could be 30 home runs, 280, 100 plus, and 20 some steals. And that's the Gunner that you could ride the coattails into the playoffs.
Do you guys think any of these signings have to do with the CBA? That they think that what they're gonna try to instill some sort of cap, so we're gonna try to get as much as we can now, because
on both ends.
On both ends, right?
The
Right.
That's and on the ownership. I agree 100%.
I think Bradish took a little bit less because they know more than we do about the CBA, and I think he and his agent. I don't know who his agent is. I didn't look that up, but in the back of their minds, they're thinking, well, better to take the 18 million we're getting a year now than if they put a cap on starting pitchers at 15, or they put a cap on this, that, or the other.
And to add to that, John, what if they don't play next year and now he's a year older? So like he's eating up those arbitration years and he's buying them out. So now he's at least assuring himself a paycheck.
Right. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. And it's like, to me, it makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't you take your money grab now? Obviously, for me, we mentioned this when it happened, but Basayo, it's like when you can do that with international players that haven't played, usually you can get a pretty good deal off of it. It happens all the time. I think Acuna, the Braves got a steal off of something like that too. So the earlier you can sign these guys, the better the deal. The quick thing I did want to say also about Adley and extensions. Mike, I don't know if it's ever been in the cards that they wanted to extend him past when his contract ends, because I'm wondering if they think of that as like the situation of buying a brand new car, driving it off the lot, and as a catcher, it just loses value as soon as it goes. To me, he is a very valuable piece to this team. He's not going to cost as much as you would think. I don't think he costs as much as Bradish to extend him. But I don't know what the market's like. So I'm sure they've tried. They've tried to go ahead and get him. Obviously, they've tried with Gunner. I think they should probably talk a little about Taylor Ward too. Um, I don't know if you're going to get a better out. Obviously, John pulled up all those outfielders. Not many better than, I mean, a Rosarena, great, but now you talk about 150 million. I mean, he'll be sniffing around that amount. So it'll be interesting next couple of weeks, guys. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about with the O's for removal?
I was just gonna mention I like Wells in that closing spot. I liked what he did today. You could see him getting ahead of hitters. You could see him moving the ball around, changing speed because he doesn't throw hard. He doesn't have a typical closer arsenal. He's between 83 and 93. He's got three pitches: his fastball, his cutter, and his changeup that are all between 88 and 93. But he's doing a good job of keeping the ball down, not giving up fly balls. And I think until we can you know, get everybody in the bullpen back from injury, you know, Wells, I think, is a good arm to have in there. And he's also a very valuable piece because he's been a starter too. So if later on we need to have him take, Big Al's slot there for the extended, extension in the bullpen and thing, Wells could end up being a pretty valuable piece at the end of that Orioles bullpen for the year.
He's done it before too, right? He's
Mhm.
closed for them before, and he was actually one of the guys that I mentioned before they signed Helsley. If they needed help, like that, he would go in that late inning role. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, just real quick. I was reading MLB.com and they did an article that was each team, one player that would have to have a great second half of the year for the team to like take off and maybe make a push. So they chose Gunnar Henderson, obviously, for the Orioles. My question for you is if it's not Gunnar, let's just take him off the table. Let's just assume he has to be the guy. What other player from the Orioles do you think is the most crucial down the stretch for this team to make a playoff push?
John, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be Holiday. I think Holiday in that 9 slot is gonna have to start getting on base, start getting his batting average up, and doing the things as a second leadoff hitter. Tony La Russa back with the Cardinals back in the day would hit his pitcher eighth and hit his second best on base percentage guy ninth. So you have two guys in front of your top of the order. And I think Holiday, if Holiday can start getting on base on a higher clip, increase his hitting and things. Again, he missed spring training, so he had what happened with Gunnar last year is happening with Holiday this year. But I think if he can start getting his average up into the 250s, 260s, his on base percentage up near 400, over 400, I think you'll see a lot more runs and I think you'll see a lot more offensive efficiency for this team.
Mike, are you asking does somebody have to improve from the first half to the second half, or just someone has to have a solid like second half for them to be successful?
Just somebody who has a really good second half.
Sam Basayo, I think. But I only say that because he's like out of the guys I was thinking, he's the most likely to play the majority of the time. Like I could say, honestly, the answer is third base. Third base question mark. Who the hell is it? Like that's really it, right? Like who's that extra infielder? Because Pete's gonna. I mean, if he has the second half that he had the first half, okay, great signing, awesome, sign done. But like I'd love to say Colton Cowser, but is he going to get the at bats? I'd love to say
That's the guy I was going to say, Jason. Is Colton Cowser, like, and Colton Cowser / Tyler O'Neill, whoever's playing left field. Like, I think that position is huge for this team because if they can pick up some of the slack for some of these guys who are struggling, then you can spread the wealth up and down the lineup. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean it's and like Adley, if Adley has the same first half as the second half, that's great. Maybe take it up. I just think it took the Orioles a little bit of time to get their footing. And everyone loved to point out the fact that they were one game worse than they were at this time last year. Well, the problem is the expectations were even higher going into last year than they were this year. Because even though the expectations were high this year, people were like, still they weren't very good last year. The year before, they're like, oh, we just made the playoffs 2 straight years. Crap. And that was a baseball team going down. Like as soon as you fire your manager, it's just done. I say that, and the Red Sox have won 12 straight. But it's to me, there's a lot of pieces that have to fall into it. And maybe the answer is the pitching, like Trevor Rogers. Maybe the answer is Trevor Rogers, Mike. Can Trevor Rogers do, based on today's start, just like last year? And dude, if you have two pitchers like that, uh, what if they do make a move for, or what if Corbin Burns goes ahead and opts out? He's like, look, I've been hurt. I've had enough time with all these bratty little children running around. I'm ready to come back to Baltimore. And then they can sign him and have him come back here. Like, there's all kinds of crap that can happen. Um, I don't know. It is. I'm more excited than mad, I guess, at this point, because like I think we've all sat here and just we weren't ready to throw the towel in. It's like when the Ravens were 0-5 or what 1-6, whatever the hell they were. It's like you're not ready to. There's still a path here, and I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I do think second half baseball this year is going to be more excited than the first half. I did want to mention the Ravens, based on our conversation last time, signed Ethan Pocic to be there to be I guess, a contestant in the center game to see who's going to be the starting center for the Baltimore Ravens this year. Coming off an Achilles injury, former Brown, former Seahawk, drafted into that organization. John sent us this article earlier, a couple days ago, and I said, I think it's a steal at $3 million, or actually, I guess it's $4.5 million for 1 year, a steal. And the reason why I think it is a steal is just because if he is healthy, he is above average center. I think he's ranked in like they have him right now as the 19th graded out center. But the problem is that's coming off of an Achilles injury. I think, with again, same thing I said last time, they bring in a new offensive line coach that is very, very popular amongst NFL players. And I think that he knows what he's doing. And if he went ahead and wanted them to bring this guy in there, there's a reason. So I don't know if he is going to be an answer or not. It all depends on health. But Mike, I think it's a great move.
I mean, just think value. You said he's the 19th rated center. I mean, that's average, right? And he's known as maybe like a slightly above average. He's not a Pro Bowl caliber center, but you have him for $3 million with 4.5 possible with incentives. What did Linderbaum get? 27 million a year for 3 years. I mean, come on, that's 1/9 of what, like 9 times what Pocic is making. Like, think about the value the Ravens can then use that money elsewhere. So I think that's where you see the great benefit of this deal. And I think they all along had the idea that they were going to find a mid-tier center to try to replace Linderbaum. I think that's been the game plan all along. He just got cleared health-wise from an Achilles, and now they were ready to pounce once they realized he was medically cleared. Clearly, they were ready to go. So the question is, the overall offensive line, is that play going to improve when you have the different pieces in place now? When you have Simpson, you now have Pocic, and then you have Ioane in the middle. Those 3 guys, is that going to be better than what we had with Falalele, Linderbaum, and whoever was playing the right guard position?
John, why don't you take this, since you and Falele had drinks earlier today and you were telling me all about it. So why don't you share your thoughts?
I think that, coming over from a team like the Browns or a dumpster fire, where you got a different quarterback every week, you got a different coordinator every week, you got a different coach every week. You're the 19th ranked center on the Cleveland Browns. You come over to Baltimore, where you have one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. You have, a solid offensive line coach. You have a best running back. Your stress level, I would think, as a center, as an offensive lineman in general, goes down a little bit, because you know who's going to be taking snaps. You know the cadence. You know what he does, how he does things, and you can adjust your game in that manner. Where in Cleveland, when you got, Sanders one week, Gabriel the next week, you got Joe Flacco who can't move the week after that, you as a center are worried about, what's going to happen, where you got a guy, a solid guy behind you over and over and over again, like Lamar. I think your stress level goes down. And I think, assuming his Achilles injury's not a big deal and he's completely healed and he's going to be ready week 1, I see him moving up, and it being a serviceable center. I think now that we've got some of our other offensive line problems fixed, I think it's a good move, and I think for the price tag, it's one you had to make. We don't have somebody on the roster who's a plug and play. We don't have a Patrick McCary who can play all 5 positions, and we needed a dedicated center. I don't think I was too keen on trying to move somebody.
Easy, John. Easy. I'll tell you. I know it's easy to poo-poo on the Browns, but Kevin Stefanski was there for he's a 2-time coach of the year. And that's with an organization that is a mess. So, I mean, again, they bring in these guys. They got him from the Seahawks. They brought him in. I think he is. I think it's great. I think it's fine. Like, I don't think it's like going out and signing Tyler Linderbaum, right? But why would you give a center $27 million when you didn't make the playoffs? You know what I mean, guys? So to me, Mike said it. It's the value, and to me, it speaks volumes. And Ledford and these guys that come in here, I think they're going to be just fine. Mike, thoughts?
No, I think Linderbaum was an elite run blocker. I think he was an elite run blocker, but pass blocking wise, he wasn't perfect. But the thing is, the running game and the way it's designed, I don't know what they're going to do this year, but in the past, Lamar makes it a lot easier to run the football, right? So if he's not as good of a run blocker, but he's a solid pass blocker, Pocic, I'll take that. Because the run game with those guys, Derrick Henry and Lamar in the backfield, that extra piece to the game should help Pocic. And from all accounts, he's a very good communicator, which he's a veteran center, unlike those other guys who have very few snaps in the NFL. So we're not as worried about it. And they signed him before training camp, which is huge. So we can have the entire training camp with the team. They didn't wait till midway through training camp to sign this guy, which is huge to me. So I think great move. I've been waiting for it. Glad they did it. I feel a lot better now than I did 3 days ago.
And it goes it's an underrated move, guys. Because Mike said it though too. It's about the overall line, right? It's like by bringing in one piece and not having to move a whole bunch of things around, you're solidifying the line. Simpson, he can go into his natural position. Their draft pick can do the same thing. You have your bookend tackles. Hopefully Rosengart just proves that he is as good as he was 2 years ago. I feel a lot better about the offensive line now than I did last year. And that's okay. As big a fan as I am of John Harbaugh, I do think there was a little bit of stubbornness to try to keep shoving square pegs in a round hole here, guys, and trying to force it to work. Okay, so I think we've been a little slow tonight with the way we've been talking about things. I'm afraid, John's actually, I think John fell asleep, but whatever the case may be, let's get something to pep us up here while we finish up here. Do you guys want to talk about? You guys want to do fantasy football? You want to do a quick trivia game? What do you guys want to do?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a real fast guy broke the mile record today. Stood since 1999. Some Brit ran a mile in 3 minutes and 46 seconds.
It wasn't a Kenyan fella?
No, it was a white guy. Jason, there's a chance.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, John. Wow, there's something I wanted to mention earlier, but I can't remember. I don't remember.
You got a trivia game? You got a trivia game ready, Jason?
Not really. I thought I did, but I don't.
Hey, what's twice that? What was the time for that mile, John?
It's like 3 minutes and 46 seconds.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do double.
That's so sub 8 would be double that would be really hard for me at the moment. So that's really, really impressive. It really is.
How old was this person, John?
I don't know. Let me look this up.
Watch it be 44, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
27-year-old Josh Kerr of Britain.
Impressive.
Or no, hang on. He breaks the 27-year-old record. Josh Kerr, Hakeem El Garouge from Morocco held the record 3 minutes and 43.13 seconds. He ran it in 3 minutes and 42.66
Yes, but
seconds.
how old is he? Google.
28-year-old.
No, you said it was a 27-year-old record.
Right. The 28-year-old from Edinburgh, Scotland.
28.
Oh, I was just in Edinburgh.
Did you
Edinburgh.
meet him, Mike?
What?
Edinburgh.
No.
Edinburgh, not Edinburgh.
No, it's pronounced Edinburgh. It's pronounced Edinburgh, my friend. But anyway, I was there, and all the Scottish people said it, so that's why I know. Not because I knew it beforehand. Anyway, the place is beautiful. That place is beautiful, and there's hills all over the place there. So no wonder he knows how to run, because it's great. Anyway,
All right. So
28 years old. Gosh.
Since I've been put on the spot, and we've been talking about the trade deadline, I'm going to ask you guys, who is your favorite or most, what do you think the biggest trade deadline move the Orioles have done in your lifetime? Now, I'm okay if you want to say it was before the deadline, but within that season to bolster the team. Oh, man, not so quick, fellers. I got two that jumped right off of me.
Okay, give me one, Jay.
Oh, man. Do you want most recent or you want previous? What do you want first?
Go previous.
Bobby Bonilla in 1995. Orioles traded for Bonilla, and then all of a sudden, 1996, they make the playoffs. And he
wasn't Nate McLouth a trade deadline guy? Nate McLouth? No.
He was a minor league signing. It's huge.
He was huge to that team.
You know who it is, Mike. You know the most recent one that I think is just outstanding. Think of Fritz. Think of Jeremy Fritz originally with it, and maybe see if it.
It's not Geronimo Baroa, is it?
No, but that was a very helpful one. That was good. That was 1990. Was it 1996? 97.
And then there was the Inky and Sabo. The Inky and Sabo deals. They were trade deadline deals, I'm pretty sure. That was 95.
Inky and Zeal.
Zeal, that's it. Yeah, sorry, Zeal. Sabo's in.
They were 96.
Yeah.
John, do you have one?
I was going to say the 89 trade with the Red Sox that brought in Brady Anderson.
That was a trade deadline deal?
Yep. Boddicker for Kurt Schilling and Brady Anderson. And then also 14 bringing in Andrew Miller for
that was huge.
Rodriguez.
That's the one I'm trying to get you to do, Mike.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I wish they would have signed him.
Is it Bud Norris, Mike? Is that the one you're thinking?
I love Bud Norris. He was so good. He was so good. Underrated, Bud Norris.
How do you guys remember any big trade deadline moves in all of baseball? I can think of one off the top of my head without even thinking.
I mean, tell us yours, Jason, so we don't take it.
How about McGuire from the A's to the Cardinals?
Cardinals, yeah.
That one really stands out to me.
CC from the Indians to the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, the Brewers, I was in college in Milwaukee when that happened. And like the Brewers pitching staff had CC at the front and what was the fellow's name from San Diego?
CC at the front, party in the back, John. That's the best.
Yeah, Trevor Hoffman was the closer.
How about Randy Johnson to the Astros?
That's a good one.
That was a big one back in the day.
Yeah, I'm trying. I know I'm missing one. I'm missing one or two that are pretty impactful, especially bat wise. But I'm trying to think.
Was Manny Ramirez a trade deadline deal when he went to the Dodgers?
Oh, I think he was done with. You just sign him, type thing. Oh, Manny Machado to the Dodgers.
Yeah,
that was pretty decent, I guess. Not for us, but for the Dodgers, it's pretty good.
Fred McGriff to the Braves in '93. That's one I just looked up.
Yep, that was a big one too. I think
the crime dog.
Oh, that was huge, actually.
The Astros getting Beltran
from the Royals.
Yes. Or no, from the Mets.
Should have been the Royals. Oh, no. I think Beltran was actually wasn't Beltran a signing before that? Was he
He started with Kansas City, right?
right? And I
Yeah.
think he might have been a trade deadline guy there, but I can't remember. What about Lindor? Did Lindor go to the? Oh, that might have been off season.
It might have been off season.
I don't remember. Didn't the Cubs do some things when they won the World Series? I can't remember.
Jake Arrieta, no.
So guys, the Dodgers trade. The Dodgers got Manny Ramirez. The Red Sox get Jason Bay. The Pirates got Brandon Moss, Craig Henson, Andy LaRoche, and Brian Moore.
Yeah, I thought that was a deadline deal.
Oh, how about that? Look up, John. Look up. What about Mookie? Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts. I thought that was a.
No, the Red Sox threw in the towel.
Wait, didn't they? Wasn't it 2 players
Yeah,
that
that
went
was
there?
in
Who else?
February though. That was in February. So
Really? I
Mookie
thought that was
Betts.
in the middle of the season.
No, the Dodgers pulled off the mega deal February 10th, 2020, acquiring Mookie Betts and David Price for
Price, that's it. Yeah.
Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong.
Do you guys remember who Manny Machado's brother-in-law was? Oh God, it was
That's what you get for trading with the Dodgers, by the way, John. What was the deal? What did they get back for Verdugo, who turned out to be a bust, right?
They got Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong. I think Connor Wong. Yeah, he's their everyday catcher now.
For David Price and Mookie Betts.
Yeah, he's a catcher and an infielder. Connor Wong.
Connor Wong. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think they ended up on the Wong side of the deal. That's all I got to say about it.
All right. Well, on that note. One other one. You can look it up, John. I thought. Oh no, I think this was. Nope, that was off season. Adrian Gonzalez got dealt a bunch. I was wondering if he was one of the first basemen. Adrian Gonzalez said that was a trade deadline deal. But for me, the first one obviously is Andrew Miller for me and Bobby Bonilla. They just popped out.
Was Delgado to the Mets? Was that a midseason or was that off season?
I thought that was a signing, but I could be wrong.
Was that a signing? I couldn't remember. All I remember is you said Adrian Gonzalez, and that brought up Delgado. Those two guys were the guys I always wanted to play first base for the Orioles for like 10 years, and then they just never did it.
And the Orioles were always involved in the rumors. Like, I think those were just the fans, but
they were never actually involved in the players, but we were involved in thinking about them.
Exactly. That's where we are with Francisco Lindor.
That's right.
Apparently, this contract is a mess, and it's probably not going to happen. I'm just trying to think outside the box. Need the help.
Just call Mike up, Jason. I know you got a direct line up there.
All right. I don't know. Oh gosh, do we need to tell the story? Actually, you already told the story about you almost running into Mike Elias, not realizing he was within 2 feet of you when we went to the
spring training. That's right. I forgot about that.
You oblivious man, you.
You almost ran into Mike Elias?
Yeah, he told me this.
Oh.
Yeah, when Mike was coming to visit, we were leaving the Pirates Stadium. Actually, I don't think we were leaving. We were going to eat more food for some reason. Like we needed to do that.
We were touring. We were at Lecom. Was it Lecom Park?
Oh, Fritz is on here, guys. Fritz just said Cespedes from the Tigers to the Mets. Oh. Yes, I just saw that one.
Yeah.
Well, I look at these trade deadline trades. They're all freaking one-sided. All of them.
Yeah, but what did it do for the teams in the future? Is there anything there?
Not that I'm looking. Like Cespedes for Michael Fulmer and Luis Cessa to the Tigers. Manny Ramirez, Andy LaRoche, Brian Morris, Craig Henson, Brandon Moss, and then Jason Bay. Nothing. CC to the Brewers. Matt Laporta, Zach Jackson, Rob Bryson, and Michael Brantley to the Cleveland. Michael Brantley ended up being a good center fielder for the Indians.
Well, more the Astros is where he really shined.
And then Randy Johnson of the Astros. Then they got Freddie Garcia, Carlos Guillen, and John Halama to the
That's a good deal. That's three major league players, pretty good
and
players.
then Mark Teixeira to the Angels for Casey Kochman and Stephen Merrick to the Braves.
So what? So based on all these players that John has just said, the one thing that keeps resonating with me is the fact that the majority of those players involved in those deals did not work out. So go get your superstar if you can get your superstar. I guess is the how all that's going to work, right? Like this isn't the. I don't know, man. I don't know. I
You
want
don't
to
think
say.
Kobe Mayo is going to be a 40 home run guy?
I mean, he very well could, but can he stay on the field long enough? Because he can't hit right-handed pitching apparently.
He's going to have to bat eighth because he can't get on base.
Yeah. Moral of the story here: they need help. You can't when you're again. I'm just going to repeat what I said the last show. It's like the guys that you were counting on multiple years in a row now have not been able to live up to what the standards that you had. So go ahead and go get players that can do that. And Michael Elias hasn't proven in season that he can do that yet. Very impressed. The additions, Mike, again, Ward. Who else are we missing here? We said Ward this year, Alonzo. I mean, he's able to
Please.
bring Blaze. He's able to bring these players in, but like you're gonna have to go ahead and do it in season. He hasn't done it yet. Go ahead, Mike.
No, just the one thing I remember from the Buck Showalter era is when players weren't performing, they didn't play. And that's one thing that I'm starting to wonder about with this regime with Craig Albanese at the helm. And I know that the players are a little bit at a different point where it's like you can't send everybody back down again, but still, like there's got to be a standard, and if you can't reach it, at what point do we say you can't play on the major league team till you figure something out? Because I think Kowser's got to be approaching that. I think Holiday's got to be approaching that. I think Mayo's got to be approaching that. There are enough young players that aren't doing what is not even league average that they need to really seriously consider what to do with these guys.
But that goes back to what we talked about last episode, where the organizational depth, it's all here now, right? There's no more guys that are on the cusp of coming up. I mean, Kerstad, I guess you can bring up, right? But he can't play defense. That's not going to make you happy based on.
Well, you might just have to use a veteran player. You just might have to use a veteran player to like the Encarnacion Strands of the world and give them a chance until that guy gets the message that you got to be better. Like, I don't know. There's got to be something done because you can't just trot these guys out that are hitting 200 every night up and down your lineup.
Well, I think that question is going to be answered too when Mountcastle comes up. Like, say what you must, but the dude hits 260 to 300. Wow, 300. He hits 250 to 260. I mean, that's going to keep you on this roster. So it means who gets moved off, I guess would be the question.
Move. Any chance we stick Mountcastle over there at third base?
No, not even a chance. Not even. I mean, dude, the man gets hurt at the drop of a hat now. Like, how did he get hurt this time? Was he just running the bases? This is like the second straight.
Yeah,
race.
it was. Yeah, he slid into second base and popped his.
Oh, it was his ankle.
His dislocated his ankle. Yeah.
All right, and his.
You got a better chance of seeing Adley at third than you have of Mountcastle at third.
Oh, speaking of that, guys, I don't think I told you what happened during our interim. I was playing softball and I hit a ball off the fence and I was running up the first around first and I felt that pop in the back of my hamstring and I tore my hamstring in two.
Yeah, you told us this before.
Did I?
This is like the third time you've told us.
Okay.
This
I
story.
couldn't remember if I told. I couldn't remember if I told you guys that.
But now you've shared it with the audience so they can empathize with you. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm looking for some empathy, and I just need some advice as I get closer to 40 to how to like prevent these things from happening. Because you guys are older, more mature, and more seasoned than myself.
So here's the difference. The injuries that Mike's are just like tearing your ACL is like you can't do anything to prevent that necessarily except for not get old.
Or fat. But yes.
Old, fat, or play on turf. John, for you, I would say stretch. I mean, I still play softball. I don't have like I'm slow now. I'm tight, and like I'm not flexible, but like still play and decent at it. But yeah, I mean, if you're able to hit the ball off the fence and you're running and you're getting hurt. I mean, we played softball with the guys that into their 60s that could run circles around me. So you should not be not playing right now at the age of, how old are you? What are you, 24, 23?
37, sir.
Yep, same thing. So, I mean,
Compared
the
to you guys,
softball,
yes.
37 in the softball language is in your 20s. So you're good to go, man. You're good.
Yeah, I mean, if I hit it off the fence, you're trotting into second base. I don't know why are you taking off like a bat out of hell out of the box. This isn't like, I get the passion, but I think you've got to find the happy medium or play in the leagues that I play in where everyone understands that I'm the slow, old, middle-aged guy that is going to make all the routine plays at shortstop, but not run very fast. And if I hit it in a gap, I might get the second, but most likely I'm going to make a big turn and go back to first base.
Well, the guy had just thrown out somebody in a similar play at second base, so I was worried about getting thrown out at second base.
That's right.
Yeah. I will tell you, and I will leave you all with this because we're going to have to wrap things up here. But I have gotten to the point in my life now where, again, I can still play softball. Speed was always a big part of my game growing up, right? My pride is so beaten down now because the last time I played, it's been a while. The last time I played, got a hit, like probably the third, fourth hit of the night, whatever it was, and it was a close game. I got pinch ran for. Let me tell you what that feels like. And then what do you do? I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'll be like, all right, you win. That guy is much faster than me, but darn. So
you got on base, though, Jason. You got on base.
Never an issue there. Just old now. Just slow. Much slower. Speaking of slower, Fritz, thank you very much for chiming in tonight. Appreciate it. Adam, good as always to hear from you. Really appreciate it. Jimmy also he reached out to Mike and I earlier to ask what we thought about the deal. Hope you were able to join. Otherwise, we'd love it. And sorry for what John said about the Browns again. I had your back. What else? Who else do I need to thank? Anybody else in here? Anyone that was able to join us, thank you so much. We are going to try to get back at least once a week. We have a couple things in the hopper again that we might be getting on more than once a week for a while, but we'll hopefully have a schedule for everyone. Anything else, John? You look like
please follow us on anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeart, and our Facebook, Instagram, email, Gmail. Gmail is dadbodscrabcakesandsports@gmail. Send us some interesting information, and we'd love to discuss it. If we can get any guests on, we'll put that on our Facebook page. And any of the exciting things that Jason is working on, if they come to fruition, we will sure to let you know on our Facebook page.
You can call us from a payphone. You can send us a facsimile, whatever you want to do. We're here for you.
You know what we should do? The last thing I'll say, we should do send in your favorite dad bod picture contest.
Oh, man.
We should do.
That would be great.
But that's what we should do.
Well, I think we might have to share ours first, Jason. We might have to bring someone here.
Game over. Not doing it. All right. Well, for John, for Mike, I'm Jason. And guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports on Red Circle, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your free podcasts. And while you're at it, leave us a review. It really helps us out. We're trying to spread the good word about Baltimore sports far and wide. Follow us on social media for more behind-the-scenes actions, memes, and bad sports takes. You can find us at Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports on Instagram, and Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports on our Facebook page. Until next time, keep rocking those dad bods, eating those crab cakes, and never miss the game.
Did you see